Good evening, traders. Welcome back to another episode of Greenback Riders Trading Academy. Today is April the 14th, and we will be taking a look at what happened in the markets today and what we are expecting for tomorrow and the rest of the week. So first, let us take a look at what happened here. This was the first 930 bar. This was the Globex high. We could not get above the Globex high. And right off the gate, we got three consecutive bearish bars. Then the price did a two-legged move to the upside. It came and touched the order block right here, where the price failed right at the open. This was the 930 to the 931 box that we had. And then the price actually failed again. This was the first leg down. This was the first reversal attempt. We had the second leg down. This was the second reversal attempt. Then we broke strong below the second leg down, thereby telling us that we will be getting two more legs to the downside. So this was one leg, then we pulled back and we had the next leg as well. Now what happened here? We came back below the Globex low. The Globex low was at 5409. We came back till the 5390 area. We closed this particular gap till the close of yesterday, and then the price bounced. We went straight above the 5429 line but could not close there. This was the first time we closed above it, and then once we came back and the price moved up again, this is where we started getting long once more. Our first target was somewhere here, the previous low of the day, which was at the 4647 area. We took some profits here. The next target was at 5758 area, because this was the measured move that we were looking at, the 58 area. So we took some profit there as well, and then I was looking for the 72 to the 82 area. Now why the 70 to the 82 area? This was the bad signal bar from where the drop started, right? So this was the 82 area that I was looking at. But on the 15 minutes chart, if you look at the 15 minutes chart, that same thing will happen around the 7-2 area. So we did get to the 7-2 area, and as soon as we started failing, I just came out of my positions. Now, if you look at this particular chart as well, the gamma chart that we had as of yesterday's close, this did not change a lot throughout the day, but we failed the 4AG right off the gate, and we got a follow through below this 5425 as well. Although we did not have a very good follow through, then the price went back up, retested the 4AG line, and as we started falling below the 25 line again, this on the 15 minutes chart created your second entry short, and that got us right to this area below the 3AG. And then as soon as we bounced, we saw what was happening in the price action chart here, and then we went above the 1AG, and then we got the 25 line, the 5425 line again. I was expecting the price to come somewhere around the 4AG area, but that failed, and that was it. We came out of our trades. So that is what happened today. Let us now take a look at what we are expecting for tomorrow from the price action perspective, as well as from the SPX gamma levels. Before we do that, if you're liking the content of these videos, please make sure to like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and click on the notification icon. Also, we stay live on Google Meet from around 9-10 a.m. in the morning, and most of the days I stay there till 12 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So if you're interested in joining that, you will find the link to our free Discord server in the description below. And once you join there, around 8:45 a.m. in the morning, you will find the Google Meet link pop up there. Let us first take a look at the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, this was the strong candle that we had, although we have a large wick at the top. However, we did not come below the close of the last week's bar, and we are somewhere near the 4529 line once again. So as long as we stay above the 4529 line and we are able to take out today's high, we will be able to see the 5520 line. We can also get up to this particular channel line up here at 5604, 5605 area that I was talking about yesterday as well. But first we will have to see that we are getting to this 5520 area, and then to this 553637 area. And after that, we will see that we are getting to this 5565 to the 77 area, and then we will be targeting this 5605 area. However, if we are above this particular line, which was the previous month's low, and we are holding it, there is a high possibility that we will come and hit this area at least to the upside. Now on the downside, we will have to see if we are getting down below this 5380 line. If we are getting down from this 5380 line, we will be targeting this area between 5347 and 5306, and breaking it down, we can bring it down to the 5307 and to the 5216. We will also keep in mind what is the 50% line of last week, because still now it is acting as a mother bar to this week's candle. So the 50% line is at 5179. It is possible that if the bears are strong, and if we are breaking down these levels as 5306 and 5278, it is highly possible that we will come down to this 5179 once again. But then we have to remember that this 5216 area or 17 area has been a very good support. So once we break that down, the price may come touch this, and then once we are getting back above this, the price may actually try to get back to the 5380 and the 5429 levels once again. But looking at today's price action, it looks like there was some kind of accumulation that happens here. So as long as we are not breaking down this 5380 area and holding that, there will be a propensity for the bulls to take the price up at least to this 5603 area to the upside. Now we also need to remember that on the weekly chart, after this new low was created, this is the first attempt to go up, right? So this is our first entry long, and this whole week may also be a part of the first entry long, and then there will be a pullback. It will come below the low of one of the weekly bars, and then once we are getting another bullish week, that is when we will say that okay, this is the second entry long that is happening on the weekly chart, and at that point of time we can actually compare ourselves with the monthly chart and see how far the price can go to the upside. Also remember that the bears are trapped here, right? So the trapped bears may actually want to sell around these areas once again and come back to that 50% of last week, which is at 5181, relieve themselves and keep going to the upside once more. Now looking at this particular daily chart, I just drew the fib on a different chart because otherwise it will become very complicated to see it there. I may actually save this chart as a daily fib chart so that we have all these lines present somewhere. And all these charts that we are talking about, you will find the link to all these charts in the description below. So in case you need to refer back to it, you can just go to the description and click on those links. So we see that we came up to the 89% of this daily mother bar today. We failed there. We went below the 79%, but we could not break down the 66%. So tomorrow, if we are breaking down this 66%, as we said, we will be looking at the 5380 line, and the 5380 line failing can actually bring us to the 50% of this mother bar, which happens to be at 533940 area. And farther down, we can get to the lower 33%, the 5274, and then we will see that if we are getting a bounce from here, or we can even bounce from this area, which happens to be 5305. So if we are coming down, I would draw a box right here at this point of time. This is the area where I will be looking for a bounce tomorrow. However, if this area also fails, we can get to the 21% to the 11%. Since we got rejected at the 89%, and the price keeps coming down, this 11% area will become the target or a magnet for the bears to bring the price down to the 5189.75 or the 5190 areas. Then we will see if we are continuing towards the downside and we are getting the 11%, 23% and the 33% extensions of this particular mother bar. Again, on the upside, if we are taking out this 89% to the top, then we will be trying to get to this 5528 area, which is the 0%, and then we will see if we are getting to this 5536 area that we talked about earlier, and then we can get to this 5563, 5612 areas as well to the upside. But my feeling is even if we get above this, we will get to this 5562 area, and then we will start selling off once again. And at that point of time, we will have to see how far the price can come down. What is the measured moves that we are getting on the 5-minute chart or the 15-minute chart as well. And our SPX gamma levels will also play a crucial role at that point of time. Now coming back to the busy chart, as we said, talked about the 6-5 line. If we are able to get above the 6-5 area and then take out the 5577 areas as well and hold that, the price will mostly come to the 5603, and we may also get to the 5636 area, which happens to be the midpoint of the 2024 bar. So now if you're holding this 5429 area and taking out these highs, there is a high possibility that we will get to this 5605 and then continue up to the 563840 area, because we are above the 33% area of the 2024 bar. But then in order to get here, our first requirement is that we have to stay above this particular level. Now, one more thing to notice on the daily chart is that we are actually moving sideways, right? So there are no fair value gaps that got created here. So the market is moving sideways. So we will have to take what the market gives us and we will have to play level to level as we have been doing so far. Let us now take a look at the 4-hour chart. Now looking at the 4-hour chart, it still looks like a bullish area, right? It's looking like a bullish pullback, but now we need to get above these highs, especially this 548887 areas. We have to go and close above it in order to say that, okay, we have a change of character right here. Then the price will try to get to this 5520, 5536 and all those levels that we talked about on the upside. Now, since this is Monday and this is the beginning of the week, I am still keeping this 930 to 931 level here. You never know, the whole week may actually start getting rejected from these levels, and then the price may actually come down to this 530406 areas as we talked about earlier. Now we may come down in these areas, but as long as this 5255 to the 5244 area is not given up, there will be support in this area once again, and the price can actually bounce up from there once more. However, if we are giving up these areas, then we can come down to this 5220 and to the 50% of last week at 5181. So for now, I have put a box right here, which is called the 4-hour support, and we will see what the price does once it comes down to these levels. Now, also on the 4-hour chart, if you see, this was the first entry long. We had a pullback, and then we have the second entry long. Nothing closed below the second entry long, and we have been continuing to the upside. So if you're taking a measured move of this whole move to the upside, we moved up till here, then we pulled back down here. The 1:1 is at 5412, and we are holding that. So in all possibilities, the price may actually want to get up to this 541413 areas, and then we will see if we can get to this 5519, break out of that, and keep moving to the upside to get to this 5616 level sometime this week. The 1-hour chart is also giving us a similar reading. We need to break down of this 5580 area, then we can first come down to this 5349, and then we can target this 5311 to the 5306 areas. If we break that down, we will come down to the 21% support again, the 5227. But as long as these lows are holding, we will not be able to get to these areas. And similarly, as we said, even if we come down here, this will be the 4-hour support right here, and that will also be the midpoint of this particular channel that we are in. And if we continue down, then we get to the 5217 and maybe the 50% of last week as well. One more interesting thing on the 1-hour chart is that this is a wedge, right? We went above the wedge, but we could not hold it, and now we have broken the wedge down. So now we will have to see that the price is getting up above this 5480, the 5487 areas in order to target this to the upside. We need a couple of strong bars closing above this 5478, and that will bring us to the 5520 to the 5536 areas, and then we will have to see what the price is doing around here. We will look at the price action and decide whether to stay on in the trade, or we will take our whole profit out and wait for a two-legged pullback, maybe towards the EMA once again, and then bounce up to the top. Now, one more observation on the ETH 5-minute chart is that we had this big leg down from here. From the top, we had this first leg down, we went back up, we had the second leg down, and now we have gone up here, but we have created a lower high. So at this point of time, if the price wants to break down the low of today, there can be a measured move possible of this leg down, and then we had a pullback. So once we break it down, we can come down to this 5372 areas as well that we were talking about. So this is another level that we have, which is very close to the 5367 area, which is the 50% of the mother bar that we have. So if we see a very good bearish movement, which is taking out these lows at this point of time, taking out the 5406 once again, if you see there has been a big drop that happened from here. So as a continuation of this drop, if we are taking these levels out and we are closing below the 5400 levels, maybe this will be the area that the bears will be targeting. And if we are already in this area in the morning, they can come down and touch the 5367 area right at 9:30 and start bouncing from here. At that point of time, we will know that they are trying to get at least to the 539092 levels, and then we can get up to this 5405, and then we will see whether we are having a false breakout of this and going up, or this is what they wanted and they want to come back down to these levels once more. Let us now take a look at the SPX gamma levels. So this is how the SPX gamma levels are positioned right now, and the structure is actually telling me that we will have a lot of trading range price action even tomorrow. So we will have to see what the price does overnight and where we are opening up in the morning. For example, if the price comes down already to this 5250 area, breaks it down, we will actually come down to the 5200, which is the first aggregate gamma, the first POI, and the fifth COI. So if we are talking about this 5200 level, we need to remember that the SPX spot price and the ES spot price has a spread of around 30 to 40 points now. So this 5200 will actually correspond to the 5230 to the 5240 areas, which if we look at it is again right at this 4-hour support line that we have. So there is a high possibility that if we come down here and start bouncing, we can get above to these levels on the upside once again. And we can bounce from here, get up above this 5300 and carry on to this 2AG to the 3AG line as well. And if you see here, we have a positive gamma here at 5425 and then at the 5475 lines. So there may be a trading range action here, but if we are able to break out and get above this 5100, getting to this 5550 and 5600 also becomes a possibility. Now the most important thing is where we are opening tomorrow. So if the market is opening up right at the close of today, it may come down to this 5375, and there we will see a bounce again, just like as we did today. And then if we are getting above this positive gamma area, we are getting above this particular high, and we can can take out this high as well. We will come to this 5475 area, but we cannot guarantee that if we will get above this 5475 area because of the positive gamma. But if we do and get above the 2 POI 1 COI once again, then the gamma falls to the negative zone once again, and it may actually climb up to the 5550 to the 5600 as well. So most importantly, we'll have to see where the price is opening up and what is the first move that the price is making in the morning, where the price is taking support and resistance, or which major gamma line is being broken down or broken out in order to reach to the next level. Again, the links to all these charts are given in the description below. That is all the analysis I have for right now. I will end this video here tonight, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of the night, everyone. Bye.